Hi beautiful people, happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well and had a wonderful weekend. It seems Without a Crystal Ball is spiraling. From last week, she has been posting excessively about Candace Owens, and I mean excessively. In a short time span, I'm talking about less than 24 hours, Without a Crystal Ball made 39 posts about Candace Owens. But when she made these posts of Candace Owens, it did start ramping up after she made this post. And as you can see, she announced she finally went outside, and this post was made on Thursday evening. She states, make sure you get outside, go for a walk, touch grass, and say hi to a cow. Does she not have any neighbors and or friends that she could say hi to? Instead, she said hi to a cow. Anyways, I wonder if Katie Joy ever puts her phone down. You know, you're going on a walk, you're getting some fresh air, you're touching grass, you're doing whatever, but she still has her phone on her. And she's a YouTuber. You know, she's doing content all day, every day. When you go for a walk, just put the phone down and enjoy your surroundings. But that's just me. This post was weird to me because she hardly ever makes posts like this unless she is in some hot water or something is not going in her favor or going well for her. Lo and behold, there are new filings in her lawsuit. On Thursday evening, she made that post, and then Friday, I was informed that there are new filings in her lawsuit. They were filed on Wednesday evening. She obviously knew about these filings by Thursday when she left the house to say hi to the cow, and then it showed up on the court websites on Friday. If you are not aware, Without a Crystal Ball is facing yet another defamation lawsuit, and it has been going on now for over 3 years. And in my opinion, she is the one that has been stalling this case. Nevertheless, just over a month ago, she filed a motion of reconsideration. Long story short, she tried to add new evidence to this response for reconsideration, and apparently that is a no-no. And the plaintiffs were not having it. And that, in my opinion, was the gist to their response to Without a Crystal Ball's motion for reconsideration. Now, before I go any further, if you are interested in what has been going on with this defamation lawsuit of Without a Crystal Ball, I will leave a link to Southern Mutton in the description box where you can get caught up with this case to date. And she does a fantastic, amazing job at breaking it down. In this video, I will only be going over the statements of facts and showing you the post that they are referring to. I'm talking about Katie Joy's post. They did submit the evidence, but it was nearly 100 pages of exhibits. There are affidavits for Miranda and James, but I do want to do a separate video about that. Also, I will have the screenshots of this entire motion. You guys can pause and read it and go over the whole thing on your own. Now, let's get into the most recent filings against Without a Crystal Ball. As you can see, these were submitted to the court on 09/17/2025. 7M Films Inc., Robert Chin, Miranda Derrick, and James Derrick, plaintiffs, versus Catherine Mansky Paulson, aka Katie Joy, and Without a Crystal Ball LLC, defendant. Plaintiff's memorandum of law in support of plaintiff's motion for temporary injunction. The plaintiffs are requesting the court grant them the motion for a temporary injunction prohibiting Without a Crystal Ball from making any public or online statements about the plaintiff during their ongoing litigation. They state that since June of 2025, defendants have made dozens of public statements falsely accusing plaintiffs of serious crimes including sex trafficking, fraud, forced labor, and other criminal conduct, none of which has resulted in any charges, much less convictions. These unfolded allegations have caused significant harm to plaintiffs' reputations and business interests, and have included misrepresentation of this court's rulings. Now, why do they say June of 2025? Well, in June of 2025, Robert Chin, who was one of the plaintiffs that is suing Without a Crystal Ball, his home was raided by the FBI and without a crystal ball was making post after post, falsifying information, misrepresenting information, and allegedly that was bringing harm to the plaintiffs. Now we go on to the statements of fact. Plaintiffs submitted pages, I'm talking about close to 100 pages of exhibits, all of Katie Joy's postings that she made during this time. They say, on or around June 24th, Without a Crystal Ball made a video titled "The $10 million Lawsuit Against Me Just Collapsed." Now, that was just one of the titles Without a Crystal Ball used that day. She kept changing the titles to get people's attention, to make more people watch the video. And as you can see, when I screenshot her story, that same day, it said, "Huge legal victory. Robertson loses again." Now back to the filing. In the video, Katie Joy called this lawsuit frivolous and baseless and claims plaintiffs have filed so much at the judge to confuse them. Katie Joy further states she has dozens of clips of plaintiffs she describes as evidence that she will be able to use if we go to trial, none of which has been disclosed to plaintiffs through discovery. Number 2, on or around July 18th, 2025, the defendant posted a YouTube video characterizing this court's recent ruling in the motion for reconsideration as a, in quotes, shocking legal victory, end quote, and claimed it, in quote, changes everything, end quote. She further states this means the court really likely got it wrong, and it's likely that this case could get completely tossed. Katie Joy also asserted that the plaintiffs have provided no evidence of damages and lied during their depositions and accused the court of ignoring her evidence. Furthermore, Katie Joy misrepresented the basis of the plaintiff's tortious interference claim, specifically denying any role in public efforts to contact business partners such as the LA Clippers. She also attempted to justify the repeated references to, in quotes, trafficking and, again in quotes, cult in connection with the plaintiffs by claiming such language was protected in rhetorical shorthand and opinion. She has framed this litigation as harassment and claimed without basis the plaintiffs are attempting to confuse the judge and overwhelm the court. Number 3, on or around July 19, 2025, defendants posted on Instagram claiming a, in quotation, shocking legal victory and asserting that this court's ruling on their motion for reconsideration of summary judgment changes everything. Katie Joy stated that the court may have gotten it wrong and criticized the court's reasoning as dangerous, while promoting hashtags like trafficking, forced labor, and cult as protected opinion and discussed the ruling alongside unrelated public figure litigation. Number 4, on or around July 25, 2025, defendants falsely posted on Instagram that law enforcement arrested plaintiff Shin in connection with alleged sex trafficking ring, further claiming she had spoken to multiple people impacted and harmed by it. Joy asserted that plaintiff Shin and his followers had been stopped from harming anyone else and paired the post with defamatory hashtags such as sex trafficking, crime, cults, 7M TikTok cults, and 7M films, falsely implying that plaintiffs are engaged in criminal conduct. Number 5, that same day, defendant posted on her Instagram stories accusing Shirley Kim of coaching plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick to lie during depositions and claimed they were terrified, coached, and looked like prisoners. Defendants further alleged that Ms. Kim abused and trafficked dozens of women into the bed of Robertson and his male followers, while asserting that plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick lied and played dumb under her influence. On or around July 25, 2025, defendants posted a YouTube video falsely accusing plaintiff Shin of operating a criminal enterprise involving sex trafficking, money laundering, tax evasion, mail fraud, and forced labor. Katie Joy publicly asserted that the case will be thrown out because plaintiff Shin is under investigation by the FBI. Katie Joy stated that plaintiff Miranda is being trafficked for labor and or intimate non-consensual contact with Robert or other men in the group. After stating, "I don't know if the deposition transcripts are still listed as confidential or not," Katie Joy portrayed plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick as terrified, coached and lied during deposition, and they were not there on their own will. She states plaintiffs are under investigation for sex trafficking and it's only a matter of time before arrest will happen, and states, Robert Shinn, your day is coming.
Vic White's probably the most visible of all of them. And for all of you wondering if Vic is still involved in the church, yes, the answer is yes. And all of these individuals, including Miranda Derrick, who is still in the cult to this day, all of them are being trafficked for labor and or intimate, non-consensual contact with Robert or other men in the group. But what I can say based on my own experience is that, so Robert is suing me, and it wasn't more than like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. No, it was like last summer. We did depositions in my lawsuit, and he's suing me for like defamation and business and interference and all this crap. It's bogus. But we deposed Miranda and James Derrick. And some of the details about the depositions were revealed in my summary judgment, and then transcripts of that deposition were provided to the court in Minnesota. I don't know if they're still listed as confidential or not, but I want to just say something. The deposition for me was I had the opportunity to watch Miranda and James answer questions, and it was terrifying. And what I noticed was both James and Miranda lied blatantly. They also, in my opinion, appeared very coached in their answers. And then they were doing things like not even knowing how to answer basic questions. It is saying that federal agents in relation to raided the home of and the compound of Robert Shinn in connection with an investigation into sex trafficking, money laundering, and other accusations, according to authorities. So at this point, it's basically they're put on notice that they're under investigation, they're investigating sex trafficking, and it's only a matter of time before arrests will happen. So Robert Shinn, your day is coming.
Number 7. On or around July 26, 2025, Katie Joy declared she hoped plaintiff Shinn dies in prison, claiming she spent nearly $200,000 defending herself for reporting on victims of his alleged abuse. Number 8. That same day, defendants posted on Instagram mischaracterizing plaintiff Shinn's court testimony by stating, given he admitted that members of his church were physically abused, and he claimed to have sex with many women in the church and provided them housing, jobs. He even told the court, I am not a sex trafficker. Yeah, okay, Roberto. Defendants paired the statement with defamatory hashtags such as sex trafficking, labor trafficking, false prophets, and Robert Shinn cult, implying guilt despite acknowledging plaintiff Shinn's denial of trafficking. Number 9. Defendants also posted that plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick had a fake marriage, claiming Ms. Kim filed a questionable marriage license over a year after the couple's claimed wedding date, implying intentional deception. Number 10. Defendants accused third party Alison Holker of enabling the sex trafficking cult by publicly supporting plaintiffs. Number 11. Defendants also posted that discovery material provided by plaintiffs in this case revealed forged taxes, marriage licenses, and business contracts, which she claims proves plaintiff Miranda Derrick has no control over her life, marriage, and finances. She further stated that she spent $200,000 defending herself to expose plaintiff Shinn as a predator and help free his victims. Number 12. Katie Joy posted she has spent $200,000 fighting plaintiff Shinn in court and declared she will never settle because she knows he is guilty. Number 13. Defendants accuse plaintiff Shinn's CPA of fraudulently preparing tax returns for him and his followers. Number 14. Katie Joy posted that plaintiff Shinn's alleged traffickers claim it's all a misunderstanding. Number 15. Defendants posted that plaintiff Shinn has been caught and will go to prison, implying guilt when no charges have been made. Number 16. Katie Joy alleges with 90% confidence that plaintiff Miranda Derrick's signature on a marriage license is forged, accusing plaintiffs of falsifying legal documents. Number 17. Katie Joy posted that she has been calling out the traffickers for 3 years and 5 months, repeatedly accusing plaintiffs of illegal trafficking activities. Number 18. On or around July 27, 2025, Katie Joy claimed that she met with the FBI and helped initiate an active investigation into plaintiff Shinn and provided detailed information about his alleged misconduct. Number 19. Katie Joy alleged that Shekinah Church members left in 2022 after participating in trafficking and fraud under plaintiff Shinn's control. Number 20. Defendants claim to have gathered evidence over 3 years to expose plaintiff Shinn and is willing to testify and cooperate with law enforcement. Number 21. Defendants post stating, We Are Trending, a day after the raid, accuses plaintiff Shin of forcing female followers into sex with business clients to secure deals or celebrity meetings, alleging coercion and sex trafficking. Number 22. On or around July 28, 2025, defendants posted a YouTube video stating that plaintiff Shin funneled non-profit church funds into for-profit businesses, committed tax evasion, human trafficking, forced labor, sexual abuse, and fraud, and controlled followers who live in modern-day slavery, though no charges have been filed against.
And in April of 2022, that a couple former members of Shekinah Church that had been with the church for decades reported Robert to the IRS for conversion of nonprofit money and then funneling it into a for-profit business, which is illegal. It's tax evasion. There's a lot of different angles with the tax evasion that occurred with Robert. That's just the most major one and a huge issue. But there's also other issues happening here because a lawsuit that was filed against him in Los Angeles County, which I've talked about many times, includes numerous victims of Robert. And he's being sued by Alicia Lee, Marilyn Gonzalez, David Gonzalez, Kylie Douglas, Kalia Gray, Aubrey Fisher, and Kevin Davis. And their cross complaint has allegations of, and it's a lot, fraud, promissory fraud, human trafficking, aiding and abetting human trafficking, forced labor, breach of fiduciary duty, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sexual battery, gender violence, work environment harassment, physical battery, aiding and abetting battery, and conversion. There's 52 different counts against him. Okay. And the money that was used to tithe to the church was not used to help the church. Instead, it was used for him to travel, buy luxury vehicles, and never giving and like living a life of luxury. So he and his deputies are living like more affluent than everyone else, and then everyone else is basically living in modern day slavery. And the sex trafficking is a complicated one because it's not your traditional sex trafficking in that the women are forced to engage in commercial based sex, but rather they exist to work for him and then serve him sexually at any time of day. But at the same time, they can't say no to him because he controls their living situation, he controls their bank accounts, he controls their phones, he controls their cars. And so it's just these women live as the ones that he did this to, slaves to him, basically. And they're used not just for sex, but also for labor. And then he's the one that gets all of this money. And for years, he's been able to hide under a cloak of religion. But if they can determine that this case isn't about religion, but instead a shell of a religion being used to run a criminal scheme, that's where they're going to get him.
Number 23. On or around July 29th, defendants posted on Instagram story advertising her new YouTube video titled Executive TikTok Cult Leader Robert Shin's Laundry List of Crimes Exposed, again asserting criminal conduct without any formal charges being made against plaintiffs. Number 24. That same day, defendants publicly pressured a brand partner at Drink Prime to sever ties with plaintiffs James and Miranda Derrick. Number 25. Katie Joy promoted her national television appearance to discuss plaintiff Shin on her Instagram story, asserting members are in danger as long as he is free. Number 26. On News Nation's Banfield Tonight, a national television show, Katie Joy stated as fact that plaintiff Shin committed tax fraud, sex trafficking, and labor trafficking, identified individuals as his deputies in a criminal scheme, and claimed members are abused and in serious danger without using terms like allegedly or clarifying the absence of criminal charges. The news host Laura Engel was compelled to clarify that there are no charges against plaintiffs.
It's not just dancers that are involved in this. There are invisible human beings that are being labor trafficked, sex trafficked. They're having their entire lives controlled. He is dangerous.
Yeah, and these are allegations. We have to mention that because there have been no charges, but certainly we've been hearing that as well.
If you think of his church, he is like a pyramid and he is at the top. Okay. And so below him, he has mentors that are basically doing all of his bidding for him. And they're the ones that control all of the members. And so his deputies are Shirley Kim, Matthew Shin, and his wife Hannah. Okay. And then he has sub-mentors and that do even more bidding. And so the people that are at the bottom have like no control. And then as they go up in the ranks, they end up getting more control and then they become part of the system and they're abusing people. And I think the biggest thing I would say for these survivors that have watched this all play out is that they are terrified that the people that are still in are in serious danger right now.
All right,
Number 27. Defendants then posted a video clip of Katie Joy's appearance on News Nation's Banfield Tonight, publicly discussing plaintiffs on Instagram. Number 28. Later that day, defendants promoted Katie Joy's national television appearance on social media, declaring her intent to keep fighting until the victims are free, thereby implying plaintiffs are perpetrators of wrongdoing. Number 29. Defendants posted that the plaintiff Shin is dangerous, accusing him of labor and sex trafficking and running a pyramid scheme, despite there being no charges against plaintiff Shin. Number 30. On or around July 30th, 2025, Katie Joy actively promoted her Banfield appearance on Instagram, using the public to help spread the story wide and declaring no more hiding, Robert, thereby monetizing and amplifying damaging allegations against plaintiffs. At number 31, Katie Joy posted that Ms. Kim is accused of coercing members to grant access to their bank accounts and then draining funds to benefit plaintiff Shin, forging signatures, filing illegal documents, imposing strict diets, engaging in verbal abuse and physical aggression, labeling Ms. Kim a monster. Number 32, on or around July 31st, 2025, defendants again accused plaintiff Shin of controlling and endangering individuals through a sex trafficking cult, stating, "I have spent 3.5 years fighting for victims of an alleged sex trafficking cult, vowing I won't stop until Robert Shin is in prison for life and all of his victims are free," and asserting plaintiff Miranda Derrick is in danger. Number 33. On or around July 31st, 2025, defendants post on Instagram, "People's lives are in danger and women are at risk of being trafficked by this cult." Number 34. On or around August 11th, 2025, defendants posted that James and Miranda deleted Insta and TikTok, alleging plaintiff Shin has a history of deleting evidence and scrubbing the internet. Defendants posted that the dancers' social media profiles directly benefit plaintiff Shin financially and that continuing content creation would be equivalent to committing crimes amid an FBI investigation, implying wrongdoing without evidence or formal charges. Number 35. That same day, the defendants post on Instagram accusing plaintiffs of deleting evidence by removing their Instagram and TikTok accounts, alleging that plaintiff Shin has a long history of deleting evidence and scrubbing the internet during investigations, claiming that dancers' social media profiles directly benefit plaintiff Shin financially, and asserting that continuing to post would be equivalent to committing crimes. Number 36. On or around August 12, 2025, Katie Joy posted a public invitation on Instagram stating, "Catch me on Banfield tonight to give an update on federal investigation of plaintiff Shin and why plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick's social media are now deleted," thereby using Instagram to monetize the controversy by promoting her coverage and further spreading unproven defamatory allegations against plaintiffs. Number 37. While on Banfield, Katie Joy claimed that plaintiff Miranda and James Derrick's radio silence following raids and deletion of their social media accounts is part of a pattern by plaintiff Shin to delete evidence when facing legal scrutiny, and emphasize the loss of plaintiff's substantial social media followings, thereby making defamatory statements that damage plaintiffs' reputations. Katie Joy stated, "The hope is that he'll go to prison for life," and the news host was compelled to clarify if he's guilty, but right now he's not even charged.
Really weird development. It's almost like the opposite of a noisy raid. It's a silent poof. But there's a lot of noise to their disappearance. Characterize for me what this means, how significant it is that the Derricks have gone radio silent.
This is a pattern with Robert Shin, and people are very concerned right now. He has a history of deleting evidence when he gets stuck into situations where he might face legal consequences. And when we made the Netflix docuseries Dancing for the Devil, if you recall, Nicholas Riano, his parents were in that, and Nicholas's entire social media was wiped out like the same day that everything went on Netflix. And so much like what he's done with Nicholas Riano, we think that he is pulling Miranda and James off the internet so there's no trace of them if and when he is arrested. This is a pattern to try to conceal evidence, in my opinion. And to say that people are concerned is an understatement, because James and Miranda have spent years building that audience. I mean, this was blood, sweat, and tears of these two that they had created before Shin ever entered into their lives. I mean, James had over 5 million followers on his TikTok. Miranda had 3. This was their labor. That's gone. Yeah, that's the prevailing thought. I mean, even Robert's attorneys in the court documents seem to believe that there is an imminent indictment coming for, he noted in the filing, human trafficking, money laundering, sex trafficking, sexual battery, forced labor, pandemic fraud for unemployment and PPP loans, along with mail fraud, money laundering, going into members' bank accounts. Yeah, it's so much. I mean, it's a lot. The hope is that he'll go to prison for life. He's 67 years old, so.
If he's guilty, but right now he is not even charged.
Number 38. On or around August 13, 2025, Katie Joy posted a message directed at plaintiffs Miranda and James Derrick, urging them to come home and leave, while publicly calling on U.S. attorneys to please indict and arrest Robert Shin, and declaring, "We won't stop fighting until everyone is free and Robert Shin is in prison," thereby making defamatory statements implying plaintiffs' involvement in criminal activity without proof. Number 39. On or around August 19, 2025, defendants posted that plaintiff Shin is subpoenaed by a federal grand jury and that a federal indictment for multiple charges could be imminent. while acknowledging that Shin denies all allegations in the civil trial and maintains his innocence, and noting that attorneys also represent plaintiff Miranda Derrick as a witness, suggesting reasons for social media deletions. These statements, despite no arrest or formal charges, further propagate defamatory implications against plaintiffs. Number 40. On or around August 20th, 2025, defendants post on Instagram accusing plaintiffs of willfully defying multiple court orders to produce financial records and claiming that plaintiffs' attorneys had failed to respond for almost a month and abandoned the case. Katie Joy further claimed she is one of Plaintiff Shin's many victims. She expressed hope that Plaintiff Shin would be arrested and indicted, and the judge throws out his case against me. Number 41. As of the date of this filing, no criminal charges have been made against plaintiff. See Shin affidavit, Miranda Derrick affidavit, James Derrick affidavit. Argument. The court should grant plaintiff's motion for temporary injunction, as plaintiffs will suffer irreparable harm for which no adequate remedy at law exists. Absent such relief, monetary damages are insufficient to fully address the continuing harm to plaintiffs' reputations, relationships, and business interests. Furthermore, the Dahlberg factors weigh heavily in favor of granting plaintiffs' requested temporary injunction. You can pause to read the rest of the filings. They go into the legal standard of the temporary injunction, how the plaintiffs will suffer irreparable injury if the injunction is not granted. The plaintiffs have satisfied all of the Dahlberg factors, and they conclude with saying, for the reasons stated above, the totality of the 5 Dahlberg factors overwhelmingly weighs in favor of granting a temporary injunction enjoining defendant from making statements about plaintiffs on social media, public broadcasts, or other news media outlets. Like I've mentioned before, this is without a crystal ball's 3rd defamation lawsuit that has gone to court. Her first 2 defamation lawsuits she was able to settle. So wouldn't you think that she would have at least learned a little bit, at least something? When she first started reporting on this story with 7M, straight out of the gate, all without a crystal ball saw, in my opinion, was her receiving fame and notoriety. She dug into this man's life, reached out to people that had association with this man, Robert Shin. And when she came across an ex-church member, she took her story and her allegations towards Robert Shin and imposed them on these female dancers that were contracted and working for this company. And she ran with a certain narrative. She made Miranda the face of the story, and she has been, in my opinion, relentlessly harassing and attacking and bullying this young lady from the get-go. She claims to be this advocate, and if she truly was an advocate, she would never have treated Miranda or any of these dancers the way she has. There is no way you can bully a person out of a cult. Without a crystal ball took things way too far from the get-go. She pushes things too far. And then once she finds herself in a situation like this, being sued for defamation once again, she claims to be the victim. She is not the victim at all. She claims to be a journalist, but she cannot abide by the ethics of journalists. She brought all this upon herself. Last but not least, keep in mind, when you do your research into the story, pay attention that 7M is suing without a crystal ball and not Shekinah Church. And without a crystal ball cannot seem to accept that. Or maybe she's just not comprehending it. There is so much to this case. As I said, you'll have to go down a rabbit hole and get caught up. But all I am going to say is, I hope nothing for the best for Miranda and James Derrick. I wish them well and nothing but peace. So you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, I'm going to take the affidavits and do a whole separate video because there's so much that I can show you on how Without a Crystal Ball treated these individuals. Thank you so much once again. Have a wonderful, safe, and productive rest of your week. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.